Hello guys, welcome. This is Heroes of the Lag, the English channel, because we're getting English now, but we're doing something special this time. We're going to talk about something I have absolutely no clue about. That's why we have our resident expert about a game he's making.
Yes.
And it's called
Desolation Terra.
Desolation Terra. It's a board game.
Well, it's a war game, technically.
It's a war game.
Yes. Now, we are, of course, working on making it a board game adjacent game. So anyone who plays board games, you should feel very comfortable with this game. We wanted to make a game where your opinions and your actions would have an impact on the outcome of the battle. So we took all the player agency and all the player economy and we gave it back to the player.
Wow, that sounds complicated.
Well, it's a lot easier when you actually try it out.
So, okay, I'm an idiot. Consider me the dumbest guy on earth. Mm-hmm. Walk me through.
Okay, so when you actually play a game of Desolation Terra, firstly, you're going to need a bunch of miniatures. Like the Hornet over here.
These are the big guys.
That's the big guys.
There's also they're the big guys. They're the guys you use when you're really in trouble.
Well, I mean, okay. How about we take a step back and see how this whole concept started off?
Yeah.
So first off, the game I was playing actually Armored Core 6, and when I was playing Armored Core 6, I thought, well, I mean, that's a cool game. It's an awesome game. You know, you have your different levels of interactions. You can fly around in a giant mech, kick someone in the face, you know, punch them or cut them with a sword, shoot them to death with a minigun. You know, all of those ideas. They're all cool. They're all impactful. You get to see explosions left, right, and center. And what we wanted to do was be able to translate that feeling that you get when you play these games onto the tabletop. So that's where we came up with the idea for Desolation Terra.
Were you unsatisfied with the normal board games? Like, what's it called? What's the usual board games that you have? Isn't that, what's it called? What's that company called?
Which one?
The one that does the games that you guys play? Warhammer.
Warhammer, yes. Well, Warhammer is a great game. And Games Workshop really pushed the bar, made it very hard for a lot of companies to actually start up. But we did feel like there was a niche that Warhammer wasn't filling. Warhammer, we felt, was a bit too structured. So you go through different phases and your decisions would actually be on a unit by unit base. And we felt like there was a level of interaction missing there. So we wanted to grow it up a bit and maybe see if we can actually incorporate like role-playing elements, like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Ideas like Lancer, a game which is another role-playing game that's tons of fun. It's a board game, but it's a role-playing game.
Isn't that... I saw people playing it online?
Yeah. They play it on different websites online and even on community groups. It's a very good game. So I wanted to see if I can incorporate some of the ideas that they had in those games into a war game. And just give the player some action economy, be able to make decisions with the units that they make instead of just going through different phases. Like, okay, I know I get to move my unit, I get to shoot with that unit, etc., etc. But I didn't feel like that was enough of a cinematic action bay, a Michael Bay type of...
Going Michael Bay now?
Yeah, no, seriously.
Far.
I mean, you can literally grab your opponent's models and throw them into a building, have that building collapse on top of their heads. You know, that level of interaction we didn't see in any other board game, which made us very excited and actually be able to develop something brand new, a brand new concept, a whole new way for you to interact with your models and your miniatures, and hopefully you guys can experience that too.
So, to explain to the viewers, this is like when you play Warhammer, from what I played the first time I got hammered by, what is it? What's that stupid faction called? Custodes. No, not Custodes. It was before you I played the other Emad. Tau.
Yes.
Shooty. We call them Shooty because all they have is guns.
No one likes Tau.
No.
No.
Emad, I'm sorry. So basically you're just sitting down, you got your dice. I don't know if you can see the dice on the video. You just throw the dice and then depending on how much you have, there's like some stuff have like what's it called? +5, -5
modifiers, that sort of thing.
Fires and all that. It's not complicated. It's daunting at first. I tried. It's daunting. I haven't played after how many games did I play? I played 2 games.
I think you played a few because you played like 2 games against me. I think you played a game against Emad.
Yeah.
I don't know if you played against Klaus.
No, I didn't play. I saw you both playing against Klaus, and this is what happens. So this happens a lot in most of these games. People are just doing throw the dice. Something happens, and they're like, nope, that's not how the rule works. You're 5 inches away from me. You cannot shoot that. You can't do that. And this, with him and Klaus, the resident expert, both of them are resident experts. They were like, okay, I'm 5 inches away and I'm behind a wall. You can't shoot me. And then the guy's like, no, I can shoot you if your head is outside a little bit on the wall. I'm like, okay, so how many units are outside the wall? It was a long debate. It was the longest debate I've seen for a game. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
So to solve that problem, I came up with my own solution. Shoot the wall. Get rid of the wall. There's
Blow
a building.
up the wall.
Blow up the building. There's people inside the building. Blow up the building. There's someone on the edge of the map. Grab them, throw them off the map. Problem solved.
Stuff off the map.
Yes, you can.
So yeah, usually if you guys are playing, like if you ever seen these board games before, the table is big. Not depending on which type of game you're playing, because there are types of games. There's the large point games, which are 5,000 points.
I think you're talking. 2,000 points is the average game for Warhammer, and then anything larger than that would go into like Apocalypse territory at around 3,000. We've had a few games where we went up to about 12,000.
This can last a while.
It can.
And when I say last a while, we can say like the table is there for like 4 days.
Yes. Yes, it can stay for a while. Now, to solve that problem, actually, what we did was we tried to make it so that it can sort of fit on most dining tables, I'd say. So on a 3x3, 3 foot by 3 foot, you should be able to have all your terrain, all your miniatures there. You shouldn't have any problems with that. And one of the things that actually Simon mentioned was with regards to rolling the dice. So we came up with our own unique solution for this. In fact, we wanted to show how, for example, if someone hits someone when you play in a first-person shooter, you shoot them in the head and then you shoot them in the body. You're going to have different amounts of damage that you're going to inflict, right? So we wanted to simulate that with the dice rolls as well. So let's say you shot a mech in a weak joint, for example. So it's going to inflict more damage, and that's how we.
So how do you know which part is the weak joint? Is there like a rule book saying which part of the joint is not?
Actually, if you look at the quick guide over here, this is just a template. The final production
to you one later.
The final production one has been updated. So let's take a regular infantry unit. Once activated, you get to choose one of 2 types of sets of actions. Actually, you get a free action and 2 quick actions, or a free action and a long action.
Okay, to explain to the viewers, because there's like multiple phases in some of the games. Like there's the first phase, second phase, and third phase. Sometimes 4 phases.
No, most games are actually on 5 rounds or 5 turns. Our game is actually standardized at 5 turns, but that means that any single model can only be activated 5 times throughout the game.
So walk me through. So let's say I'm playing first round. So
you guys roll off to see who actually goes first.
Okay.
You don't know at that point who goes first.
Normal stuff like a usual board game, even the old board games.
Yes. So it's rolling for initiative to see who has the initiative. Then you select 1 unit from your army to activate.
Okay.
That unit walks onto the board, so nothing actually starts off on the board. Okay. So let's say I activate an infantry unit. I will have them walk into a board. Hopefully, have enough movement to actually get to a building where they can actually fortify the building. And then have that building be part of the map. It can actually it acts like a unit. So we have different types of effects that these buildings do, from making it harder to hit friendly units, to being able to activate a vehicle or a TCA, what we call a mech, as a free action. I mean, you get a lot of different types of interactions, and the whole idea of our game is to have a lot of synergy between the models. So having any one model too many times does nothing for you.
So how do you, when you play, like let's say this guy's 1 unit, or
He's 1 unit. Any of the larger guys are usually going to be 1 unit. Infantry, on the other hand, are going to be be made up of 3 to 6 units on the Varegian side. And on the Ghoul side, I think the minimum size unit is also 3 to 6, and another one is 5 to 10.
So how many factions do you have right now? 2, right?
Currently at launch, we will have 2 factions available. We will have the Varegians, and we will have the Ghoul.
And they all have their backstories like usual.
They
board
have
game?
their own backstories. They have their own miniatures. They have their own play styles. I wanted to emphasize different ways for models to actually interact with one another. So they act completely different. You can play one army today, and then play another army tomorrow. It's like you're playing a brand new game.
And do you have like the usual Warhammer stuff where at the start you have some stratagems, they call it?
Oh no, we don't have any. No. What we have is something else. It's called reactions. So usually at a cost of stress or heat, that's going to be impacted on your model. You'll be able to take certain reactions like evading bullets, or parrying a melee attack, or blocking a ranged attack or melee attack, or suppressive fire. Say, for example, if someone walks and finishes their movement in your line of sight and your weapon's range, you get to shoot them.
So let's say I want to parry the next move from the other units.
You don't have to declare the parries in advance.
You don't have to.
No. It's as soon as that person makes a melee attack against you, you're just reacting to it.
Okay.
So imagine that like it's muscle memory, and your pilot's just been conditioned to be able to do stuff like that.
So each faction has their own type of parries, or
no, basically what happens is that, let's say I take a reaction with one of the Ghoul models. If it has a pile driver, I can parry with a pile driver and just punch you in the face. Or with the Hornet over here, he can stab you with his sword staff.
So that's
what do you call it?
and that's decided by the dice.
No. What's decided by the dice is whether or not you're successful. It becomes a contested roll then. So basically, how healthy is your pilot, how healthy is your machine, it's going to impact how likely you're going to succeed on that parry.
So let's say, how much do you need to get a parry?
You need to roll off against the other guy. So based on his condition and your condition, it's going to impact who wins the parry.
So Warhammer style.
No. This is completely different. In Warhammer, usually you take your stratagems, you declare them, or there is no counterplay without consuming a type of resource like stratagem. In our game, no. We're taking into consideration what's the actual pilot's condition in the mech's case, or what's the soldier's condition in the infantry's case.
So do some moves like, let's say I'm going to use the sword.
Yeah.
After you do the sword, does it like have an overheat signature or whatever?
The mechs actually have something called overdrive. So let's say you used up all your economy, you used up your quick action and your free actions, right?
Sounds like Xenoblade X.
You know, there are ideas where you're going to see a parallel to video games, and that's just bound to happen. You have to take a cool idea and try and build on it to make something new, fresh, and try and translate it into a new medium, which is miniatures in this case.
Yeah, miniatures.
So what we did over here was, let's say, to going back to the point, you used up all your economy. You used up all your attacks, all your whatever, right? After that, you have that little bit more of a push that you want to push to try and get that kill. You can try an overdrive.
So when you overdrive, does the miniature, well, let's say this robot, overheat? And then it can't move for 1 turn or something?
No. What happens is you do take some heat, but as long as you're within your maximum, you should be okay. Okay? Now, there are weapons that actually push up your heat, whether you like it or not. Yeah? So successfully getting hit by a pyrotech weapon is going to push up your heat. So, and we have another adjacent, of course, for the infantry that handles stress primarily.
So to the viewers, I think you'll need a manual right next to you at all times.
Well, no, that's the whole idea of the quick guide, the quick reference sheet. We just wanted to compile the information, make it easier to understand, easy to interact with the game. We want your focus on the battlefield. We do not want your focus on data sheets, on fidgeting with your phone or anything. We want you to have a good time, being able to have a social interaction, and keep your eyes on the battlefield as much as humanly possible.
So, how did this actually start? Like, when did you
Okay.
think about this game? Like, you were playing. I remember you were playing Warhammer. We were playing a lot for a while, and then you were like, I want to make my own game.
Yeah. Well, to start off in 2023, I got cancer, and while I was getting chemo, I was speaking to a friend of mine. His name was Ali, and I was telling him that I just finished Armored Core 6, and the game was awesome, and I was just really upset that they didn't have one.
Which
one
one is
chassis.
it? Which one's the 6? Is it Fires of Rubicon?
The new one.
Yeah, Fires of Rubicon. Okay.
So I just finished all three endings at that point, and I was like, you know what, I'd really like a little bit more. And then the conversation went into miniatures. I have the Armored Core miniatures, by the way. Yeah.
Armored Core miniatures?
Yeah. And I just never got around to building them. So I was telling him about it, and he's like, then I was telling him, there's nothing I can use them for. There's no war game or anything. And he's like, why don't you make a game? So I sat down for 5 minutes, and I was like, you know what? You have a point. Why don't I make a game? And I made a game. I spent all my chemo days just typing up rules and
I remember that
refining
time.
them.
And I remember he sent me the story, and it was rough. It was rough at the beginning. It was very rough. Some of the stories were it's long. It was long. He sent this to me on
I didn't send
WhatsApp.
you the story. Technically, I sent you some of the rules back then.
You also sent me some of the story.
I did.
Yes, you did, and I was like, okay, that's quite long, and he had to. So when you're building a game, when you start, the first thing you need to do is like, okay, you need to put some backstory into the actual story of everything else. So he's building the factions, and he was like, "What do you think for this name?" I'm like, it's fine, but lacks panache for some of the units and what's it called, some of the factions. And I was like, okay, I'm not that much of an expert to send it to your group. And the group was very active at that time. We were sending her left and right. And we're like, okay, what's going on? And it was like, okay, you need to change this part here. I think I like this better. I think I like this better. So it goes on user feedback. So
Yeah.
walk us through how was the user feedback in the group?
God.
And did you try online also?
No, we did not go online. But when we first tested out the game, sadly, it was a bit complex. There was a lot of math involved, and there was a lot of
As it should.
no, not to that degree. You needed a math degree to play the game at that point. So I sat down with a bunch of the guys, and then we were like, okay, we know what we want the game to be, so let's make it in a way where it's easier for everyone to experience the most out of the game. And get the most out of it. Get the feel like they're actually, living out an action sequence in an action movie instead. And that's when we kept on refining the game, refining it, and it used to be a single dice roll. I think of a D6 back then, maybe, and then we slowly shifted. We went to a 2D6 system, which math is my favorite. But ultimately speaking, after one playtest with a guy who's never played a war game before, and I saw his eyes glaze over, I decided it was time for a change. So we decided
You simplified it.
completely, and now anyone can play the game effectively. In fact, when we were playing showcasing the game in 968 Games, I noticed a lot of kids were actually enjoying it. Like I think they were like 7 and 9 years old, and they were having a good time.
To explain to people, 968 was some event in our country, in the Sultanate of Oman, and they were playing board games. They were showing to the community. Some people were just coming interested, just walking around, just looking at the models. Most of them were like, "What's going on?
Exactly.
Explain it to us." And yeah, for me, this is complicated. Even now, when he's explaining all of this, I'm like, what's a D6? What's a D5? Like, what's going on? Yeah. It's
We wanted to make an experience where anyone can have fun. We wanted to make it a social experience. We wanted people to be able to, socialize, talk together, and just have a good time, So that was the main design principle behind
so
the
you were
game.
trying to remove the usual Warhammer discussions of what rule does what
Yes.
and why
Yes.
the rule has to work here and not there.
Yes.
Because if you see some games of Warhammer online, you will see a lot of videos of people playing, and a lot of it is just them like arguing over the rule set.
Yes.
And those are long arguments. They can last for about 30 minutes. Like, really, I'm not joking. 30 minutes of guys just saying no. That's not how it works.
I made sure the rules were as explicit as humanly possible. And every time I find something new that I might have overlooked or I think someone might misunderstand, I fix it. So we're going through different phases of the playtest. In fact, the last one we had last weekend. That was very helpful. We found a loophole in one of the rules where I needed to fix. So God bless them.
So,
thank you, guys.
Yeah, that might be long. That might take a while. So you have some people with you, right? You're not alone
yes.
doing this.
Yes, it is a team. A lot of the people over here are extremely talented. We have artists from around the world. We have sculptors from around the world. All of them incredible people. All of them experienced. We have a guy who's dedicated to the IT side of it. We have a company which is handling the marketing. We're pretty happy with the talent that we have involved.
We get free tea. And we get a lot of free tea.
Thank you.
For a podcast, this is weird. I don't think you guys ever
feel
seen
special.
a guy getting tea while he's doing the podcast. That's nice.
That's awesome.
Shout out to our resident director.
Cheers.
We're having a good time. So
Yep.
it seems complicated though, even for me.
No, not at all. Once you play a game or two, you're good to go. In fact, the starter set game should once you understand all the rule sets and everything, shouldn't take you longer than half an hour. So it's something that you can play over the weekend when you're bored. You want to spend time with the kids, maybe paint some models.
Paint some models.
Yeah, paint some models. Or if you don't want it painted, we're looking into whether or not we can have the miniatures in solid colors. So they're going to be in distinct colors based on their armies. Different models are going to look different, of course, on the tabletop. Nicer painted ones are going to look better. We have, as I was saying, we have a lot of talent from around the world. The team itself, the core team, the team that's in Oman is made up of about 5 people, I think. And
Nice.
With the team that's working abroad, the whole total team size is like 20.
So people who don't understand this, like you get the models in a box.
Yes.
And that box has like how do you explain this? For some people who don't know, most of the experts will know. Most of the people who probably watch this video will understand. But some of the people who do not know how this works is that you get the models in a box in a plastic like this. You remove that part from the plastic and then you glue a part here and then a part here, then a part here, part here, part here. This is not that easy. The coloring is not as easy as it looks.
Well,
it takes some work.
It does. To be fair, our models are actually going to be coming pre-assembled.
Oh, you're doing the pre-assembled thing.
We are doing the pre-assembled, except in the mechs, the TCAs, you'll be able to replace their weapon options, and the larger guys, basically, you can customize everything you like on them. On the smaller guys, you get to replace one arm, in most cases. And with the infantry, they're going to come in ready.
Like you see this guy here, if I can show him. This guy has a machine gun and an axe.
Yep. You can change the machine gun to a harpoon gun on that.
A harpoon gun.
Yep. Which actually works on other people.
So how would you know this machine gun is like, let's say, do you have the categories like this is bullets or lasers?
Okay. Now, we don't have that distinction in the game. Okay, we treated all missiles as being roughly the same. However, certain weapons have certain characteristics. So some of them, as I mentioned earlier, have the heat effect, where they increase the heat of whatever they hit. The big guy, for example, is back weapons. They're actually designed to take down buildings.
He's talking about this guy.
Or the gorilla guy has his pile driver, which is designed to take down vehicles. And he's fun to use too.
It's fun to use. He's got a pie driver, and he has nothing on the other hand.
He does have a little grenade launcher or cannon, shoulder cannon.
Supposed to be there, but it's
Yeah.
not there. But okay.
Sorry, these are prototypes, so we're fixing them. We're trying to improve them
We
overall.
have the usual units with the usual machine gun, and they're wearing exosuits.
Yes. So basically, these guys are the Varygians. They're from the Varygian Empire, from Venus. Their focus, they're a bit on the knightly side, where you have different knight houses. So we have two army sides, two houses over here. The primary house is, of course, going to be the white and black. White with red highlights, sorry. And the other house is going to be the blue with red highlights.
So your influences were mostly like if I see this, like seeing Warhammer, I see the influence of some custodes here.
Oh no,
Not here.
none. These guys are actually like the mechs. They are inspired by let's say Japanese military anime.
Gundam.
Not Gundam, actually.
Not really.
No, we didn't use Gundam for any of them.
That's
None.
surprising.
I know.
That's,
I don't want Gundams because Gundams are just, they didn't make sense to me. Well, I mean, to be fair, you can't have an 18-meter robot full stop, so technically the big guys are about 6 meters tall.
Yeah.
That could make sense to me. It's anything bigger than that, then you're going Attack on Titan's territory.
But yeah, so when you were thinking about this, you were like, okay, it has to be different from every other stuff that you've seen.
Yes.
But mostly centered around what you actually played, like what you liked before, like as we talked about Fires of Rubicon.
Yes.
So it was mostly influenced by Miyazaki.
Each army
Is
is
it
actually.
Miyazaki? What's his name?
I'm not sure.
I forgot. I think
No, it's what's his name?
I forgot his name.
The same. What's his name?
The guy who does Dark Souls and Elden
Yeah.
Ring, but he has
That is Miyazaki.
his side.
That is Miyazaki.
Yeah, he has his side projects,
Yeah.
which is what's it called, Armored Core. It was pretty famous at the time. It shot up in popularity during the Fires of Rubicon because it's like a Souls game. So you do see a lot of the influence of the Souls game, where it's how do we say this in a nice way? Like there's no.
They're military weapons.
Yeah, there's no left and right. You just go. You're in. You shoot. You kill, and then you go in. You put some swords in, and then that thing blows up, and then you go back, and then you see what's left.
Yeah.
So you're trying to.
In fact, their
replicate that.
tagline is "Command what's left."
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. And yeah, what else do we have? You're expecting the next factions when after
So,
how much time?
just to be clear, we have the concepts of 5 of the 6 armies flushed out. We have the data sheets for 4 of the 6 armies done, and we have the miniatures of 2. We're planning on releasing the other armies after about a year and a half from the initial Kickstarter launch. And from there, it depends on the community, whether or not you guys liked our game. If you did, we're going to expand it further.
So also, how long? Because we didn't talk about this. How long does one game last at least?
Okay, so this the 2-player set is going to take you about a half hour to play, if you understand the rules, and it's going to be a transitional period for you to get used to the rules because we are completely different than anyone else, and it'll take you about an hour and a half to play a regular-sized game.
So to put this into perspective, like if you play Warhammer or any other game, board game, they last a long time. Like we said, 4 days and all that. So 1 hour and a half is not that bad.
Well, technically, we do have a supersized game, which is going to be included in the rules book. It's called Conquest. And that can accommodate many players, of course.
And how many rounds? Same rounds? 5?
No. You see, if you ever played Total War, it's Total War.
Oh, like the PC game.
Like the PC game, yeah.
Total War, but okay. How do you explain Total War?
So you need to with Conquest, you're gonna have a base of command where you're gonna basically have it as your capital, and you're going around capturing cities and trying to capture your opponent's capital effectively. And these are gonna have battles on 2 maps. One map, which is the continent-sized map, and then the engagement map, which is going to be on a 3x3. And these engagements can be really ridiculous. So we're just trying to flush out the rules for it. I think we need about another month to get that sorted entirely, and that will be included in the rulebook.
So explain to me, like, if I'm playing, let's say, what's it called, the ghouls?
Yeah.
So if you're playing the ghouls, and do you get some territory advantage? Like, are they better at empty spaces, or some of them are better at buildings, going through buildings, or what are the advantages of each faction?
Fair enough. Okay, so if we look at the ghoul actually are designed with 2 play styles in mind. You can play them as a horde army, which means that you're going to have a lot of infantry bodies on the map.
My what's it called? I had 1,000 Suns, and I had large units that go like 20 of them. They can be tough to kill.
Well, no, they'd be fairly easy to kill, but they are really scary once they get into melee. And then the other playstyle is what's the other playstyle? The other playstyle is more of a I'm going to be in the middle of the board. Good luck trying to remove me playstyle. So very super tanky. The Varegians, on the other hand, they also have corrosive weapons, which basically impact how tough you are whenever someone else makes an attack. Varegians, on the other hand, have thermal weapons primarily, and they are really, 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 really good at punching in close combat.
So
they are
thermal weapons, you mean, what do you mean by thermal weapons?
Thermal weapons are weapons that usually increase the heat level on mechs and vehicles, or TCAs.
So when you increase the heat level, we tried to explain this. So what's the heat level like?
Okay, so let's say someone, one of the TCAs,
what's it? Is it from 0 to 10? Or?
It's 0 to 5.
0 to 5, okay.
So what happens is, let's say someone gets a vehicle or a TCA gets maxed out in heat. It's going to start incurring a lot of damage. Yeah? And if it dies from being in excessive heat, it's actually going to explode. And it's going to impact everything around it.
Even friendly units?
Everything.
No, even the buildings, even everything.
Everything.
So it's more...
so you could have a game where by the end of the 3rd round, you're going to have a big empty space in the middle of the map.
So do you have to remove that stuff?
You physically remove the buildings, yes.
You have to physically remove the buildings. That's a first, because when we played Warhammer, there are no rules. You don't touch the buildings. You don't touch anything. So does it have like let's say there's there's an oil barrel. Does the oil barrel also explode?
Yes, we have toxic, not only toxic. We have environmental effects, which would go into playing on how you interact with the game as well. Say for example, one of your TCAs is cooking and walks into some water, it's going to cool down by a bit, for example. Or if you grab someone and throw them into toxic sludge, they're going to take damage.
So who decides the terrain?
Well, you decide it before the game starts, and then you roll off to decide where everyone's going to deploy effectively.
Doesn't that put some people in advantage?
No. And it's war. Since when was warfare?
So wait a minute. So let's say I'm playing these guys, okay, and I know they're weak to sludge.
No,
or
everyone
water.
is weak to everything, but so you don't have someone who's immune to, for example, toxic waste. Does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, we did have some weird interactions actually last week, but yeah, that's one of them.
Because in Warhammer, you don't have these things. You don't have toxic sludge, or you don't have anything. It's basically just your unit has some form of stratagems that during the battle does something to the other units depending on what they do.
Yeah.
So the other guy is going to think like, okay, I can't do this. So I'm going to need to do this. And this is super simplified, saying like, okay, everything just blows up. Everything is complicated. everything kills you.
Or everything kills you is a very accurate description.
This is a very Souls-like thingy where everything can kill you in the environment. That's
pretty
pretty
much.
good. That's a good initiative. Because my main gripe with Warhammer, because we played Warhammer, everybody plays Warhammer, and we have
Warhammer.
types of Warhammer. We have Warhammer 40k, 30k,
Age of Sigmar.
Age of Sigma, and depending on which age you're playing, they don't have. Some of them have magic more than weapons.
We don't have magic in our game.
There's no magic.
Again, just to clarify things, when I was building the game, I did consider realism as a factor. So we are classified as, I think, low fantasy setting. We don't have any of the crazy stuff like psychic powers. We don't have them. Magic doesn't exist.
Like Gundam, like new types.
We don't have those.
So it's basically just a bunch of dudes in a suit.
Trying to live, yes.
Trying to survive.
Hopefully trying to survive for another day, effectively, yeah.
That's cool. Other than that, what can we talk about? What else do you have? Can you give us there's a trailer, right?
Yes,
there should be a trailer.
There should be a trailer. We're working on it right now. It's almost done, and we'll be sharing it with you guys as soon as possible.
Is it a 3D trailer? Is it just a picture trailer?
I'm not going to ruin the surprise.
Okay.
But let me put it to you this way. It's going to do two things. It's going to build the world for you so that you understand exactly what setting this is. And secondly, it's going to showcase the kind of interactions that you can have in my game that you can't really have in other games.
Like,
for example, having a gorilla climb an enemy unit, or mounting them, or being grappled by someone and have them throw you off the board or into a building and have that building collapse on top of you.
do they fly?
No. Well, sort of, no.
Do they hover?
No.
Can you avoid any type of terrain?
No. You die.
That's
Mean.
I
am a very mean individual, mind you. So, yeah, I'm not playing nice.
So these robots... Wait a minute. So these robots don't go to space?
I mean, you'd use an elevator or you'd use a spaceship to get to space. You wouldn't
So
exactly walk to
story-wise,
space.
you're extremely into realism.
Yes. I mean, technically, this is... it's in the year 2850, because I needed about 600 years to terraform Venus, but yeah.
And Mars?
Mars happened roughly at the same time frame, but it sort of ended before the Venus
So
terraforming.
it's in the galaxy.
It is in our solar system.
Yes.
One of the factions which are not there at launch is actually not from the solar system. And I can't exactly go into details about them.
So, aliens?
I can't go into details. What
Yeah,
didn't you get? Yeah,
Still, that's fine. I need to know. That people need to know.
Well, they can find out soon enough, hopefully.
So,
Oh, right.
also the website, yeah.
Yes. We do have our pre-Kickstarter registration page up right now. You can find it on desolationterra.com. It's to register pre-Kickstarter, where if you do and you join and you become a VIP, you're gonna get a poster as well as the digital art book.
Does it get your signature?
You do get to have your name in the rule book as a Kickstarter supporter. Yes.
No signature from you? Like you don't sign papers and you
I mean,
give them to
if people want it, sure. I mean, I don't exactly have the prettiest signature, so.
Why not?
Well, because I want people to actually, keep it as a keepsake from when they supported creating something as awesome as Desolation Terra.
Are you planning at some point? We were talking about this before the podcast. Are you planning to do, let's say, I don't know, something on the side, like a book or a game or?
Well, for the time being, no. My entire focus is to develop this IP further. Just be able to flush out the world and have as many different and unique interactions as I can think of for the for the community and the players. And once I feel like we're at a spot where we could look into different things, we might consider it then.
So, also, can you tell me Who are you sending these to? Are you sending it to pros, people who actually like the game?
Well, I mean,
trying to
everyone, as far as I'm concerned, is a noob at the game. So the whole concept of how you play with this world, it's a fresh experience. So let's say you've played Dungeons and Dragons. You'd be familiar with taking actions, for example, when you select your character, right? So other people who played war games wouldn't have that kind of experience. So being able to have those levels of decision-making abilities on a war game is a brand new experience.
Do you need a ref?
Sorry?
Do you need a ref? Like
No.
a guy just watching the game, like...
Well, I mean, there are going to be people watching the game anyways, but no. No, you don't.
You don't have refs in Warhammer, right?
Well, at some points they did. In a very long time ago, they did. But no. Currently, in the current state of Warhammer, you don't need a... Well, you'd have a ref, but you wouldn't need a game master, for example, for the game.
Yeah, you don't need a game master because you were talking about Dungeons and Dragons, and usually there's a game master in the Dungeons and Dragons. And
so that's my job in the game, and to make sure the rules are easy enough so that you don't need a game master.
So it's nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth with
My D12s.
D12s, and we have the normal dice here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the logo or
No, that's from Warhammer. So, I used to play a lot.
We're trying our best here. We're trying our best.
So these are all prototypes. Everything that you see on the table right now is just for playtesting, for making sure that everything's stable. We've had hundreds of games at this point. We've had the games tested in Oman and outside of Oman. A lot of people are keen to try out the game, and they all seem to be overall quite pleased with it. We're very happy with the kind of feedback we've been getting.
You're getting good feedback?
Yes. We have constructive feedback and we have good feedback.
And story-wise, who's building the story? You started the story for a while and then you're like, okay, we talked about this.
As I tried to make it extremely clear, I'm not that much of a story kind of guy. I'm not a very good writer. I'm a horrible writer. So
I noticed that.
Yes. So all I could do was write a historical document, which I shared with you, if you remember.
It was long.
It was long. It was very detailed, and it grew since then. And now I know what everyone eats as well. But we got it to the point where I was like, we need someone who can actually take what I've written back then, and George initially helped me with it as well, and try and build a world from it. Try and actually have the community and the players actually live and experience this game. Mm-hmm. You have to build a world around it. You have to give it purpose. Otherwise, it's just rolling dice.
Yeah, it's just rolling dice, and
we wanted to do that, and we did do that. I'm very happy with where the story is right now and how it's written. We hopefully will try and get some professional writers as well on board to write us some short stories to help flesh out the world and make it feel, lived in, instead of just here's a document, read it, and that's it.
Yeah, because one of the issues with Warhammer, you'd have to know some of the lore, at least to not to play, but at least to understand what you're doing in the game. Like it gets complicated. Like you really try to simplify as much as possible compared to Warhammer games, because Warhammer games tend to be very, very detailed. And I remember you kept telling me, like, you have to read this book to know what happened in what's it called?
Horus Heresy, I think.
The Horus Heresy, which
that's a series of books.
A series of books, because some characters are only introduced in the Horus Heresy, and you only know why this guy is there to begin with, is because of the Horus Heresy. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to simplify as much as possible. Yeah, we said, but like, what are you trying to achieve in the story? Like, what's your main, like, what's the main plot?
Well, I'm not going to get into the main plot, but what I will tell you is that our world is a living, breathing world. That means the theater of battle changes. Okay. The story does progress. Okay. Even though we're starting it somewhere in between one engagement, the following expansion is going to look at another engagement. But the world after that will start to progress, and you're going to see differences in, for example, how what's happening in the world, and all the players are actually going to be involved with this. What I have planned, it's not going to be there at launch, sadly, but I do have plans for a great new system. At least I believe it's great, and it's basically going to make all the players' decisions actually impact the overall war effort.
So you're trying to do like what's it called? What's that game? We're fitting a lot of games here. If we're talking about games like what's that game called? Everybody keeps playing it.
Helldivers?
Helldivers, yeah. So conquest wise, like you're on a planet, like that planet is like 80% this and 40% that. You're winning and
well, something like that. But I won't go into those details, mainly because the idea is not yet complete. It's not yet fleshed out. But we do have a concept for it, and we're trying to hopefully have the community be involved with it, hopefully.
So you'll have to excuse me because it's not that I need to know, it's that the viewers want to understand what's going on and why these guys are fighting in the first place. Because at some point...
Well, let's just say they're fighting to survive at this point, and each army has their own agenda. Whether it's just simply surviving, trying to lead humanity forward, or just feeling hungry.
Trying to do their best.
Well, some are. Some aren't that. Actually, no one's nice here.
So
they're all horrible people. But yeah, they're all in it for greed, in it for resources. They're in it for themselves.
Good old politics.
Good old politics.
Yeah. So yeah, other than that, what you want to add something?
I don't think so. I mean, we did cover most of the stuff, but yeah, as to go back to your question when you were asking me about some of the cooler mechanics that we have, infantry when they go into the building, okay, they can actually interact with the building. So, and that interaction can impact other units as well. Okay. Another thing that you're going to find in my game, you might not find it in a lot of other games, is the way that different models interact with each other. Okay, so I talked briefly, I think, about the grapple mechanic, for example. You remember when you played Armored Core, when you used to fly really fast and you'd get a enemy model and they just kick them?
Yeah.
We have the kick.
You have the kick, and you can kick them out of the map.
You can kick them out of the map if you wanted to, kick them into a building if you like, or just knock them down.
Is there a rule like how far you can kick?
Of course.
How many inches?
Absolutely.
Are we playing in inches or centimeters right now?
We're playing in inches, mainly because inches are just going to be that much more convenient than centimeters when playing. Centimeters, everyone can argue. Inches, just have fun.
I mean, it's not like
they're roughly there.
So basically, you're trying to appease the newer players, and you're trying to make sure that the old veterans understand what's going on.
Exactly.
To make sure that everybody's on the same playing field.
Yep.
And everybody understands the rules completely. But it's not daunting.
It is not daunting.
I can explain to some people, but it's not as daunting as Warhammer. From his explanation, this is pretty easy. This is easy. Trust me on this, because I've played enough to understand that sometimes, like if you're playing, the guy can roll dice for hours before you actually play. Like some guy can roll like 10 dice.
For years, yes.
For hours.
You can get up, make a sandwich, and come back and he's still rolling dice.
And he's still rolling dice. And then you have to remember which dice he was throwing, what was the numbers, and then, oh my God, you have to put it in a sheet of paper. It can take a while. So simplifying is the name of the game.
It is. It's streamlined, it's simplified. And on top of that, one of the weirdest complaints I got, which was very, very weird, was a guy played for 3 hours and then complained to me the game was too short. That was the weirdest complaint I got about the game.
So people do like it.
Yeah,
long.
They do.
So you try. It's hard. I know it's hard. I can understand. It's really hard to try to make some people like, okay, fine. I'm a veteran. I've been playing this for years and years, and if I play this game, it's too short.
Yeah,
it needs to take like 1 day.
Of course. But yeah, I think we tried to balance the rules in a place where anyone can pick it up and play, and easily accessible, easily understandable, and just have a good time, good action movie type sequence on the tabletop, and just feel good by the end of the game, you know?
How's this Kickstarter going right now?
Well, we'll find out. Right now, we're just collecting emails. And we're soon, I think on the 2nd of July is going to be the Kickstarter launch date.
Do you have like categories? Like if you pay this much, you get this. You pay this much, you get this.
We do. We have the, I think, the rule book. And
I think that's mandatory.
Oh, it's mandatory. But you know, you can just buy it as a standalone if you don't want to buy any of the starter sets or anything. Then we also have the starter set, which has the 2-player starter set. Basically, it has half a good size army for you to learn the mechanics. 2 infantry unit on one side, 2 infantry unit on the other, and a small TCA or light TCA.
Are you trying to make? Are you going to go do rule books for each faction?
No.
Not yet?
No, we're not. I have no plans to do that. I'm trying to make... Okay, so what I did was I kept the rules consistent for all armies. Okay? So it's just one set of rules for everyone. So you don't have to go around carrying like 5 books and moving them around and stuff. It's a pain. So one thing was I want to keep all the rules in a single spot for everyone. So everyone has access to everything. The only difference is each data sheet for each individual unit is going to be different. So all the customization, all of those options, they're actually going to be on the data sheets. So it's an individual unit.
The question that a lot of people will ask if they're veterans is, will you get like advanced rule set, or will you change the rule set after a while? Will you get like like number 1, number 2, rule 3, rule 4, like in Warhammer, like they got to the 9th edition right now. I think the 10th edition. 10th edition.
We will, but it will not be now. It'll be in a few years' time, hopefully. Because there are a few mechanics we want to introduce, but we want to test them out, and we just simply won't have the time. We do want to try and expand the scope by a bit, but avoid bloating the rules to a point where it's just too much for anyone to handle. We wanted it to be easy, always just easy to access, low barrier of entry, but high skill cap, you know? So that's the core design concept behind the game.
Sounds like a fighting game.
Really?
It sounds like a fighting game.
Well, it is
fighting games are simple, except everything around it is more complex at some point.
Exactly. So if you want to get into the nitty-gritty, my rules can get very complex. But if you just want to have a good time, casual game, nothing stopping you from having fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
Other than that, well, I think we've covered almost everything except for that Kickstarter had like how many days right now? It's written 34 days.
No.
I'm not sure.
July 2nd is going to be the Kickstarter launch date, and it's going to be running for a month. And we have our fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, and hopefully we're trying to get this to as many people as possible. We're trying to spread the word, and we're probably one of the first, if not.
Oh, you guys are the first.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah.
And if you're into Warhammer, if you're into Dungeons and Dragons,
board games in general,
this looks like something fun. Actually exciting, because there hasn't been a new board game on this level for a while. I mean, like you said, what's the name of the company, Warhammer? What's it called?
Games Workshop.
Yeah, Games Workshop pretty much has the monopoly on this.
Well, to be fair, there are other companies. I've
never heard of them.
Oh, they exist. There's more of a role-playing element type companies, and each one has their own type of flavor in it. But we wanted to just detach ourselves from that group entirely and try and create a new space for ourselves. So we didn't go with the traditional World War II type games or Napoleonic Wars kind of game. Mm-hmm. We didn't go to the sci-fi level of Warhammer 40K. And we completely avoided the fantasy setting, mainly because fantasy is fun, but I just can't translate it into a game, sadly. At least not for now. And we wanted to really create a brand new environment, a brand new play field with experiences that our community and our players would have never experienced before.
So will you try to introduce at least some form of, not magic, some form of if there are aliens or something, will they have like some sort of psychic powers or some sort of advantage?
Faction 5 has something quirky going on with them, but I cannot go into details.
So you're trying at least.
Oh no,
you're trying to put something, at least something.
It's different, and I'm not going to go into details on it. And yes, it's still logical and scientifical. Scientifical, is that
Scientific?
a word?
No, that's not a word. Scientific is more like scientifical does not exist. So yeah,
Based in science, based in facts.
based on facts,
Yeah.
because robots are apparently based on facts.
Hey, no, they're not. They're basically armored suits, except the gorilla guy. That special lore stuff. Anyways, so yeah, no, they're pretty normal sized. I mean, the largest guy is the size of what two-story building.
Oh yeah, another thing. Are you planning to introduce tanks? Because
Yes,
tanks are
vehicles. They will not be available at launch. They are going to be available on our first expansion, hopefully, where we're going to be introducing different kinds of vehicles. Some are really crazy, and I'm really looking forward to them. The rules are fun, and the concept art that we have for them is fun as well.
And the process of doing vehicles, this is a vehicle, technically.
It is technically a vehicle.
It's
yes.
technically a vehicle.
It's better to think of the big guys, like the robots and stuff, as people in armored suits.
Mm-hmm.
They're in massive power armor. Instead of thinking about them being in mechs,
Mm-hmm.
they're in power armor. And that's why we call them tactical combat armors.
Another
not
thing that I would
vehicles.
like to know is, like, let's say this explodes.
Yes.
Does your pilot have time to run away from the explosion?
No, he does not.
He dies.
He dies.
So there's no like I'm getting out and I'm running away like a little girl screaming. No.
Well, not in the first edition of the game. We will not have that mechanic. We might have something along those lines in next iterations.
Are you planning to do models without exos?
Without exos?
Without that suit?
Well, without the you mean no? We are going into more of a armored type of aesthetic with the Viridians. So they all actually look like this. Some look really, really out there. And as for the ghoul, sadly I didn't get any miniatures with me, but I'll share some pictures with you guys. They are bioengineered, so they don't really look human. In fact, the infantry is called kobolds, and the other one's called rippers.
So you're trying to at least put some cyborg into the game.
Yeah. In fact, in order to fit someone inside a salamander, I'm guessing you have to cut off their arms and legs.
That's
Extreme.
too much information. Because I don't think people will be like, oh yeah, wow, I have to cut my legs off to get into a robot.
Well, I mean, if you understand the story behind it, there is an actual reason why they have to do that.
So you're getting into the nitty gritty of some stuff.
Oh yes, I am. I went down to what they eat then. Literally, that was a bit too much, but yeah.
So like, let's say the ghouls, what do they eat?
Fish. Their primary diet is fish.
I know this
And
is
don't
a bit
ask
weird.
what fish.
I know this is a bit
Please
weird to
don't
some
ask what
people.
fish.
Like why would you know about eating and all that? But most people are pretty excited about lores when they play these games.
I had to literally create it from the ground up. So creating cultures, traditions, customs, everything for every single faction.
So you're trying.
We
your
created
best.
the world. We
You
literally created the world.
Yeah, and I really hope that the world isn't a bit. At some points, when you're playing and you're like, okay, like you're gonna get two factions at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Some of them might be like, I'm not too excited about this faction, and then you'll have to introduce the new factions about their backstory and all that. Like through the process of that, do you tell yourself, okay, this type of guy, there's these types of guys who just likes, I don't know, like biomechanical monsters and all that. Are you planning like to do mutated type humans?
For the time being, I guess the ghoul are the mutated type humans. Sorta. I mean, yeah. You can think of each faction as having their own type of how do I put this? They're all very different. They all function entirely differently as well on the game board.
Function entirely differently. You
Yeah.
mean like in the lore-wise?
Lore-wise
keep it on the side.
game,
So Game wise, like okay, some like do these soldiers, the blue ones, the ghouls, right?
No, those are actually Varisians, but
Okay, the Varisians.
they're both Varisians, both the white guys over there and the blue guys over there. Just different houses.
Oh, you're going to different houses and
we
stuff.
have stuff like that as well.
So you're diversifying the units.
It's only a color scheme right now. Later on, if we introduce sub-factions, if we introduce them, they will have different...
So you do have plans like to go a bit further into the story and add new models.
We do, yes.
And are the models like... how do I say this? How do I explain this? How do I ask this question? Like, do the models like at some point have like some quirk to them? Each unit has some weird quirk that they can only use in battle.
Abilities, yes. They do have, each individual unit has its own set of abilities. You can further customize it on the TCAs by selecting different reactors. So it's going to impact how many times they can, for example, overdrive. Or what kind of bonus ability they might have when they do certain actions. Okay.
And details wise, like
Yes.
let's say if I have this,
Yes.
okay, and I want, let's say, okay, the sword you can change and all that. Right now, I don't think you can remove it. Oh, you can. Oh, so you're using magnets.
This is only for the prototype, and the actual final one we're planning on using ABS
Fancy.
and PVC. So it's going to be, you don't need magnets. So you don't have to worry about buying magnets. What we're going to do is you're going to be able to plug and play them.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Like, can you remove some stuff easily and reinstall them as easily as...
Absolutely.
Oh, that's nice. That, by the way, this for Warhammer, it's usually glue for some stuff.
No.
There is some of them that use magnets. I have my my unit Southern Sons. One of them has a magnet because he flies on a saucer.
Yeah, with us, it's just going to be plug and play.
Plug and play.
Yeah.
So a plug and play like
Literally plug in the arm and you're good to go. That's the arm it has.
So is it going to be like here it's magnet?
Yes,
Okay.
but that's only because it's prototype.
Are you going to put like some circle here just to tuck?
It's going to be a peg and hole. We are still working on finalizing the final production design, which should be done soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. This is very time.
Are you trying to reduce the amount of glue?
We want to reduce any kind of waste, any type of plastic waste. So no sprues becoming. Well, I'm not going to say we're environmentally friendly. End of the day, we say you're going to have stuff which you're going to throw away. But what we're trying to do is trying to minimize it as much as possible, so that you don't have that much stuff that you have to throw away.
Yeah, because the first daunting part of any building your own faction and stuff is how long does it take you to build said faction?
Okay, so let's say you buy the 2-player starter set. Okay, from the time you open the box till you get to the board, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes.
So you really went all out on this one.
Oh, not only that, I went to the point where I wanted to make it easily transportable as well. So the game is not going to take up that much space in your house. So it's practical if you don't have that much space. I mean, again, you're still going to need a 3x3 foot battlefield, but other than that,
Are you planning to do like boxes for them?
Yes, we have the 2-player starter set for one, and we have the army sets, which are going to.
When I mean box to carry them.
Oh, box to carry them. Sorry. Well, I'm not yet finalized it. We are still looking into how we can improve it. Nothing will be available at launch, as far as I can tell, but we're still working on it. If we do manage to fix it or figure something out,
because like I said, this can be a long process. So usually, let's say for me, especially the painting part.
Yeah.
The painting part is a pain because you have to put some primers and all that. Did you already consider the colors?
Yes, you're going to have the stock colors when it comes to buying any of the miniatures. If you want to go with any of the House Drakniel ones, then you're going to have to paint them. But we are trying to have a color distinction between the models so that as soon as you open the box, till the point you get to the battlefield, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes. There are going to be two color sets, whitish gray on the Viridian and a dark blackish gray on the ghoul.
So another thing is, let's say I want to color it in pink.
Go for it. Have fun.
So
Create
I can
the
do whatever
backstory.
I want.
Do whatever you want.
I can even put my own logo on it.
Go right ahead.
Nobody's
And
going
take-
to complain.
I want pictures. Please. That's what I want. I want pictures.
That's
Painted and send it to
exactly
me.
what I want. Because at some point, I know in Warhammer, some people like painting in trees and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, go all out.
Go crazy.
Go
Have
crazy.
fun.
Do whatever the hell you want.
All
Of
I'll
course-
do is give you the guidelines.
Yeah.
But you guys go
because
crazy.
at some point, because I know some people are very, very into this. They love coloring their models. They
Yeah.
love making their models as distinct as possible when they're playing, because they're like, that is mine.
Yes.
That is completely mine. I made this. This is my color. This is my game. And you're really going into this, huh? You're really.
I want people to have fun. I want people to tell me stories. I want people to breathe life into this world. I want people to be able to just tell me about all their crazy interactions. And who knows? Maybe we'll actually make a cover art of it or something.
So-
But like, for example, one of the pieces of artwork that we have was a interaction that we had in one of our games. We had the gorilla climbing the hornet while it was fighting the Belial, and the salamander shows up with a harpoon gun, shoots him off the hornet's back, and just drags him across and just slams him with an axe. So we wanted those level of interactions. Those stories is what we are dying for our community to try out and tell us what happened with you guys.
Another thing is that revolves around these games usually is a lot of fan fiction.
Yes.
So, if let's say you get a fan fiction, like a story from somewhere, from a guy who just sends it to you, are you planning you're like, that's not bad, I'll put it in the game?
Sure. Why not?
Why? So you're pretty open to.
We are. At the end of the day, we do want the community to help us build the world, and the only way we can do that is if we hear their stories and be able to really grow the narrative. Grow the fluff. Of course, none of our miniatures have names. They're all just going to be chassis and soldier A type of thing. But what we wanted to do is actually listen to the community, have them help us build the narrative for this game.
So, explain to me also Warhammer. I know we're talking about Warhammer a lot, but we can't go playing this game without knowing about Warhammer, without talking about Warhammer, because they're pretty much the de facto game.
They are the most famous, yeah.
For boards. And did they implement their own their fan fiction into the games at some
Not
of
to
them?
my knowledge, no.
So they do their own stuff.
Yes.
And they make sure that their own stuff is usually in the rule book and all that, to make sure that there's no discrepancies in storyboards.
Yes.
So you're
we will have to manage, of course, all the fluff and everything. But
you're like, okay, the main plot is there. You guys can go crazy on anything else.
Yeah.
And if it's good, we might put it in.
Basically.
We might not, depending on how good it is
and how much space we have.
and how much space you have. That's important. So yeah, that sounds cool. So yeah.
Tell us your stories.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate you guys from Heroes of Lag for having me here.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. That was a small introduction. I don't know if it was small. I don't know how long this video is. So thank you guys for watching. And like we said, if you guys want to support the website, where can they find you?
They can find us on desolationterra.com or on the Kickstarter registration page, I think. It should be up and running by the time this video goes up.
We'll put some links in the video down below. So if you guys need any information or anything, you can send us your comments so we can send it to him.
Yeah, and we also have our own Discord. So if you guys look us up, we'll probably leave a link
Links
with the
below
Heroes of
the
Lag.
video.
You guys can follow us from there.
All right. Thank you. So this was our introduction to Desolation Terra. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and thank you for watching.
Thanks.